Hey there, this is Becca, and today what we're going to be looking at is how something as simple as a choice of typography can help you set the tone for your classroom. And most importantly, how do you do it? So let's take a look. So at its core, typography is about conveying feeling and tone. And the good news is that you don't have to know a ton about design in order to take advantage of what this means. We're going to start by taking a look at two primary types of fonts, serif font and sans serif font. So serif fonts are fancy fonts. They have these decorative lines and tapers, or tiny hands and feet, as I like to think of them, and often they convey a sense of seriousness, of elegance, of poise. So think of the New York Times, Forbes, the Wall Street Journal, even magazines like Elle that kind of want to transport you to a Parisian street, anything that wants to elevate itself and add some sense of credibility. And if you look at the books on your shelf, almost all of them, with the exception of some children's books, are printed in serif fonts. And the reason for this is that although serif fonts are considered to be older and less modern, studies show that they're actually easier to read large blocks of text. We often ask students to submit papers in Times New Roman, and this could just be something from the Microsoft gods, but maybe this is a reason too. So serif is one category, and the other one is sans serif, which just means without the tiny hands and feet, without those decorative lines and tapers. These fonts are simple and they're clean, and they can convey a sense of fun and modernity. So think about packaging for toys, magazines like Whalebone. That's just beautiful publication. It's really creative and thoughtful. And then companies like Rivian, which are new and they're modern and they're adventurous, and they want to have this clean, crisp aura that's pushing us towards the future. And there really is no right answer, because while research shows that our brains have an easier time digesting these large chunks of text when they're in serif font, it also shows that dyslexic brains have a harder time reading serif fonts and prefer sans serif, a little bit cleaner. But what we're really talking about today isn't so much what these fonts are, but how they make us feel. And just remember that product designers, marketers are doing this all the time. Everything we see is carefully curated to make us feel or think in a certain way, whether that's soaps in our bathrooms or the food in our fridge. Everything is pushing us towards a certain feeling. This choice is happening everywhere, and it's also happening in the classroom. So let's take a look at this class expectations. The one on the left is a serif font, and the one on the right is a sans serif. And I would just ask, how does each make you feel? How would you prefer to feel? What do you need or want your students to feel? Right now, I am a sans serif girl for the most part. I do mix and match often. But when I was first teaching in the college classroom, I was young, I looked like I was 8 years old, I was so scared. And when I put together my syllabus and my class expectations for first year students, I kind of unintentionally chose a serif font that conveyed a sense of ethos and credibility that I really did not feel at the time. Now I might make a different choice because I want to push a sans serif feel where it's a little bit more about that relationship building and the connections, so that I'm at a different place in my life. And the same is going to be true for you. And this might change depending on the type of resources you're putting together for students. Class expectations might have a different feel than your assignments or your daily PowerPoints or daily to-dos. Or maybe you're working with elementary school kiddos and you really want to just have big, bold text for our early readers. There is no right answer. The idea is just to have fun with it and be intentional. So what do we do with this information? The first thing I'd have you do is just look at what you've created so far. You have already made a choice, my guess is, again and again and again. Whether it's for your PowerPoints or just copying and pasting things over or what you've adopted from other teachers, you will have a preference that you use in your classroom. So once you have everything laid out, and this doesn't have to be extensive, it can take 3 minutes of your time, but just see what choices you've made. And then the second question is, what choice do you want to make? Is that the feeling that you want to set in your classroom? Remember, these resources are an extension of your in-person classroom, whether you're handing them out or whether they're online. Everything is helping to set that tone for your students. So what choices have you made, and what choice do you want to make moving in the future? So get curious, get creative, be intentional, and if you are interested in learning a few other tips and tricks that might help you as you develop these resources for your classroom, particularly when it comes to clarity and accessibility, then pop on over to the next video.